I'm Mark Gregory, and I've spent a lifetime in kitchens across the world and made it to the very top of the game. Cooking for royalty, presidents, prime ministers, movie stars, pop legends and sporting greats. But now I've come home to my castle in New Zealand, where life is all about family and friends. In this series, I'm going to give you all the ingredients you need to create the most memorable Christmas. With simple dishes that don't cost the earth, but taste $1 million. Delicious gifts that will really mean something to those receiving them. And some of the simplest but most fun party games to round off any Christmas occasion.
Welcome to Christmas at the Castle.
On today's show, guest chef Analiese will join me in the castle kitchen to make the most incredible trifle you've ever tasted. My lime and silver drizzle Christmas cake will turn you into an angel. And we end the show with some holiday zombie madness. In the castle kitchen today is someone who's cooked in many of the world's best restaurants. She's an Instagram sensation, she has her own book and TV series, and she's also my gorgeous daughter, Analiese Gregory.
Hello, good to see you again.
Lovely to see you. Now you've popped over to New Zealand. I gather you're going to a party tonight?
Yes, and I'm trying to make a show-stopping dessert.
You tell us first what it is you're doing, and then can I help?
Okay, so I've developed a bit of a thing for trifles, specifically Panettone Trifles though. I think it was, you know, you have a Christmas where everyone gives you a Panettone and afterwards you're left going, what do I do with these fancy breads? Yeah. So obviously French toast is a great way, just eating it toasted is awesome, but trifle is exceptional for some reason. So we have panettone that Mark has pre-baked for us, and then I'm going to make a creme pat. I'm going to talk you through a jelly, and we're going to layer it all together with some cherries and fresh berries and a little bit of booze. So creme pat, also known as creme patissiere, you know, if you're a professional, which we're not. All right, so I've got milk. I'm using sheep's milk actually, just because I like it. And it's what's around, and some cream. We're going to warm those up. I've got sugar.
And the recipe is all online. Don't worry about the quantities.
Yeah, I don't worry about quantities. Sugar, corn flour, and egg yolks.
Yeah.
And I'm going to whisk those together. This is, I would say, the traditional method of making a creme pat, always pretty similar. Also in making an anglaise or most types of custard.
So a creme pat is a thick custard, isn't it?
Yes, so it's a custard that's often thickened with corn flour. So something that's, you know, for piping or for spooning as opposed to a pouring custard. I'm also going to throw in a tiny bit of vanilla essence, but you could be using, you know, fresh vanilla pod. I also really like sometimes to do a fig leaf infused creme pat just for something different.
And what does fig leaf taste like?
I find it tastes a bit like a really herbal matcha to me, but a lot of people I know tell me they think it tastes like coconut.
Right, so that's going to heat up. You've got your eggs there. What else have you got here?
You can make your own jelly. You can get a jelly from somewhere. You can use packet jelly if you're really short of time. But so the way I would normally do a jelly is I make a hot sugar syrup. So I'd make sugar syrup just with the sugar and water. I would soak these gelatin leaves in water on the side, stick them in, and then just simply pour it onto berries and let it macerate.
So there we go, Glenn. That's Analise's raspberry jelly.
Okay, this is hot. So now I'm just going to pour this onto my egg yolks. So the aim is to incorporate it without scrambling the yolks or doing anything like that. So you want to be whisking or stirring at the same time. There we go. And then I'm just going to return it to the pot.
I was once listening, you're making the lovely creme pat, which is a custard there. I was listening to the radio one day and had the most fabulous story. They were interviewing a man in his 80s. And apparently he'd been married over 50 years. And they said, what's the secret to your long marriage? He said, oh, that's easy. My wife, she cooks for me every day and gives me custard every day. And that's what I think is the success to a great marriage.
What country were you in at this time?
Yorkshire.
Oh yeah, that makes more sense. Yeah. We're bringing the creme pat back up in temperature, but just gently, because, you know, it does still involve eggs. We don't want to split it. So we're just going to bring it up gently, and the cornstarch will cook out and thicken in that process. And then we'll cool it down because the thing is, so we've got a cold set jelly and we want our custard to be minimum of room temperature, ideally cold, before we start building things together.
Well, this is going to be a huge trifle. I mean, look at your bowl. How many people are going to your party?
I like to over-cater, so that's for about 3.
You're going to spoil them. Honestly, they're going to think they've died and gone to Wonderland.
Isn't the thing about Christmas food, though, is that there's always some left over for the next day?
That's actually very true. And who doesn't like a little bit of extra trifle? Because we eat extras or leftovers for a good 2 or 3 days after Christmas.
Oh, you call them extras?
There's a lovely saying that actually comes from Sweden, where apparently your mother-in-law is called in Swedish your bonus mum or your bonus dad.
This is going to thicken, I promise. It will happen.
There we go, it's thickening.
Like magic.
That was velvety and smooth.
There you go. Now you have your creme pat. It's quite hot, so I'm going to decant it into a bowl and we're going to let it cool.
There we go. Put that there for you.
Okay, now if I'm going to start cutting the panettone, do you want to do a level of jelly in the bottom of the bowl?
Absolutely.
Yep. Thank you.
Oh, there's a lot of raspberries in here. Looks great. Oh.
So normally, if I want to try and make it look really slick, I will set a level of jelly in the bottom of the bowl so that it's perfectly flat. People seem to like that. We've got a layer of jelly. We're going to go with a layer of panettone or panettone because we've chosen a very awkward shaped trifle bowl. I'm just going to break the pieces up to make sure that they fit into all of the nooks and crannies.
Okay.
All right, would you like to dredge that in boozy syrup, please?
Certainly. So in here we've got orange syrup and brandy.
But it could literally be sherry, some sweet wine, you know, it could be whatever you like that you happen to have.
Because traditionally with panettone at Christmas time, the Italians have a glass of something sparkling, which is rather nice.
So it should be.
Yes.
Okay, now we're going to go with some of our cold custard. If the custard's a bit heavy for you as well, you can always lighten it by adding in some whipped cream, which I occasionally do. Oh, then I
More
suppose...
panettone?
Panettone.
Panettone.
And then we'll go with another layer of jelly.
Okay. Soak that.
Oh yes, we will soak, and then we will do jelly.
Okay. Ooh. Can't wait to try this.
Make the layers however you want. It should be fun. The world's your oyster. You can put whatever you want in. I'm now going to throw some fresh berries in because I really just like having that burst of like acidity as you dig into it. Oh, and some preserved cherries because, you know, why not? Delicious. I do tend to always cook like this, like I have a recipe, but I go off piste quite a lot. Has a tendency to happen.
How many chefs do that? You start doing something and then you start playing or have a good idea.
Yeah, probably all of them.
Yeah, or you go to the market and they've got some great peaches.
What makes recipe writing so hard?
It does.
All right, I'm going with another layer of panettone. Oh, you were right. It's going to be a very large trifle.
This is a lovely different take. It's still a trifle, but it's a different take on Christmas.
Well, the thing is also you haven't had to like make a sponge or anything for the trifle. You're just using a panettone that either you get from the shop or that hopefully someone's given you. Oh, what should we go with next? Okay, one more and then we'll go jelly.
Okay, and do you want cherries or raspberries?
I think on the top.
On the top, okay.
I mean, I'm lactose intolerant, so I won't be eating all of this, but someone's going to have a good time.
They certainly are. There we go, I'll get the last of it.
So then you can finish the top however you like. Some whipped cream is a really nice way to do it. Should we do whipped cream or should we just do fruits?
Personally, I would like fruits.
Okay, we will do fruits.
Okay, so I've got raspberries and just tumble them on top.
I think so, but let's aim to cover the entire top.
Yeah.
Something about that feels lush.
Yes. Raspberries are actually my favourite fruit.
Oh, I think cherries are up there as my favorite fruit.
Okay.
All right, we don't need this many, but now I'm so close to the end that I'm just going to put them all in. Cherry and Panettone Trifle.
Absolutely beautiful. Well, hang on, just going to see how heavy this is. Can you actually carry
We'll
that?
sell it by weight.
Thanks for joining me again in the Castle Kitchen today, Annalise. You've made it a December to remember.
Next, my lime and silver drizzle Christmas cake will turn you into an angel. And we end the show with some holiday zombie madness.
It's that time of year when we're supposed to be enjoying the season, but sometimes preparing, shopping and stressing can get in the way of a good time. But we're here to brighten your spirits and help you jingle till you tingle with a lime and silver drizzle Christmas cake that'll turn you into an angel. Whatever cake mold you have, buy a good one because they're thicker and you'll burn your cakes a whole lot less. Now, with these fancy ones, there's something you really need to know. Spraying them with the regular food spray, they tend to stick. So it's recommended you buy this at a good baking store. And what it is essentially oil and flour mixed together. Be generous with it. Put it all over your mold. Get a brush. And make sure you get into all those little nooks and crannies. Because if you don't, it'll stick. Right, so I'm doing this because we're going to use this one today. Right, let's get in there. This fancy cake release is actually for these very fancy cake tins. For regular cake tins, just do whatever you do. Butter, dust it with flour, or the normal kitchen spray will work beautifully. Right, there we go. That's ready. I need some ingredients. Where's my elf? Thank you. Back to the North Pole, is it now? Right, let's get started. We have some ingredients. We have flour, sugar, 3 eggs, melted butter, buttermilk, honey, lime juice, and a little baking powder. This is the easiest Christmas cake you'll ever make. We need some eggs. There we go. 3 eggs. Sugar, and let's whisk these together. There we go, just 30 seconds or so. Right, there we go. There we have the eggs and the sugar. It's quite light. In goes the butter. There we go, get that in there. Followed by the flour. Let's get some honey in there. There we go. The baking powder, just gently stir that in. And this is where I'll change to a spatula. There we go. Let's get rid of me whisk. The buttermilk goes in. That'll make it light, aerated, and delicate. Lime juice for flavour. There we go. Mix it all in, and I'll put some lime zest in there as well. In goes the lime. One more. There you go. Can you see that? And that's our cake mix ready. Our very pretty cake mold is now ready for the cake batter. As you can see, it's quite runny, and that's rather good because it'll go into all those nice little sections in the cake mold. The tops of the pine trees and the festive Christmas scene. There we go. Onto a baking tray, into the oven at around 160 degrees Celsius, 325 Fahrenheit for up to about an hour. Our silver and lime drizzle cake needs its drizzle. So, couldn't be simpler. Lime juice, sugar in equal quantities, bring that to a gentle simmer, and it's made. And when it simmers, just take it off the stove and leave it to one side. Now, it's time for the frosting. We're going to make a royal icing, and all that is, sounds fancy, but it isn't, is some egg white, which we will whisk up in a bowl. There we go. There we go. Can you see that? That's all we need to do. A little aeration, and now there is an exact recipe, but it's just as easy to do it by eye, because what we're after is a thick frosting that still seeps and oozes down the sides of the cake, because I would like this to be slightly winter wonderland. And with the silver baubles and silver bling, it will look great. So that's just the egg whites, the icing sugar, add a few drops of lemon for flavor. The lemon juice will flavor it, but it'll also help keep it a little bit soft. There you go. Soft, and that will drizzle all down the sides of our cake. Now I have a cake ready-made, so whilst that one's in the oven, we're going to decorate the one I made a little bit earlier. A little bit of lime drizzle. I've already given it a drizzle, but I just want to show you how to do it. So whilst it's warm, just drizzle a little bit into the cake. Now there's something I need to tell you about these cake molds. The optimum time to unmold them after they've been cooked is 5 to 10 minutes. Just means it'll pop out a little easier. So whilst it's still warm, onto a cake rack. There we go. I want to share with you a little story. Our earliest Christmas cake started in around, modern Christmas cake started in about the 17th century. And initially they were ground beef, oatmeal, spices, dried fruits and wine. They were awful. And this is what they've turned into. There we go. There we go. Just drizzle it all over, make it look pretty. So there you can see it's beginning to melt down the Alps of our mountain cake mold. But we need some bling. The icing, it won't set hard. It will remain relatively soft. So when you eat it, you get a little bit of soft frosting. So there's our Christmas lime and silver drizzle cake. So it's got a lovely lime flavored cake. The lime drizzle is zinging, and this creamy royal icing is the most luscious frosting. So if fruitcake is not your thing, why not give our lime and silver drizzle cake a go this Christmas?
Next, we find out who can be the best Christmas zombie. It's time to find the best Christmas zombie. Give every player a Christmas hat and some movie direction. For example, you're a zombie leaving a nightclub at 3 a.m. You can't make eye contact with anyone, and you certainly can't walk in a straight line. Everyone has to walk from one side of the room to the other, performing their best zombie impression. After the first attempt, tell them it was rubbish. Direct them to do it again with more Hollywood.
The winning child was Kaya.
The more creative and hilarious, the better. And the best Christmas zombie impression is crowned the winner.
It's been all about cakes and desserts here at the castle. My lime drizzle cake will make you look like a rock star in the kitchen. And Analise's Panettone Trifle is rich, zingy, and a real showstopper. If you want to try any of the recipes from the series, you'll find them online.
For more castle recipes and fun, please like and subscribe. Thanks for watching and Merry Christmas!